Jace Media, and this afternoon we're in conversation with Mr. Jim Lee, vocalist and bassman from, how would you describe it, Jim? From all those years back. I don't want to say old group. You'll give me a doing. Legendary group, Ice. Does that fit?
That's fine.
Cool. Yeah, so good afternoon, guys. I'm on line with Jim, talking about the new album that's lay in a vault for all these years. We'll talk about where they're going next. We'll talk about lockdown and plans for the future. So, Jim, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for taking the time to chat with myself from Jace Media.
Glad to be here.
So, what's been happening? What have you been up to?
Well, learning to wear a mask.
Yes. I think over where you are, I think it's becoming worse now than I think we've had it pretty bad, and then they changed the rules a little bit, and then it's gone bad again. I mean, I've been in lockdown for 20 weeks.
We're not exactly in lockdown, but they want you to wear a mask if you go into a public establishment.
Yeah.
But if you're out in the woods walking or riding a bike or something like that, it's not a problem. The cities are experiencing the worst of it because people are so close together, and they haven't been taking the necessary precautions. I don't think this is going to go away for a while because it's a virus, and like flu virus, it travels through the population, and most of the people that contracted here have symptoms, but the fatality rate is about 1%. But it's mostly people in our age group. So
yes, you're right.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, there's a lot of publicity. I'm not sure what the rest of the world sees about the United States, but I'm not sure what the media is telling you and what's going on out there. But here it's life as usual, and people are going back to work, but it's under different conditions. Yeah. And if you look at the old historical records, pictures and things, when they had pandemics before they had antibiotics, people did wear scarves over their faces and stuff when they went outside. So yeah, this is nothing new. You just do what's best for you. There's no vaccine and there's no cure right now, so the best thing to do is not get sick.
Yeah, it's pretty desperate times, when you kind of think that, for a couple of weeks you went, it's flu-like symptoms, it should be fine. And here we are, the whole world just came to a standstill. In regards to what you were saying about what the media, I think the media is quite critical of, much like Britain, where, they're critical of Donald Trump, how he's handled it, kind of what he's telling people, the information that he is sharing out with the world, and people look at him and think he has two heads. And I think it's much like Britain. Our guy is telling us this is what you need to do, and then 2 or 3 weeks later saying, no, you don't need to do this, you can do this. And then, but if you do this, this might happen. But if you don't do this, this could happen, And we've had something, I think it's something like 68,000 deaths in Britain. But it's, but in certain respects, it's like the new normal.
Yes. And they don't know what this virus is going to do. They're in the middle of this and they're trying to understand it. it's like if you're driving down the road and your motor has a problem and you're trying to fix it while you're on the interstate.
Yeah.
At 65 miles an hour, and you're doing everything you can, and this works and that doesn't work, and the best defense is self-defense. That's what I recommend.
It's certainly strange times, but what has it done for you guys in the music industry? You know, you guys, you know, came to the surface, you know, after so many years, kind of in the wilderness, if you like, and I guess you guys are just itching to get out there and play it.
If there were places to play, the venues are mostly shut down still, and even the more well-known artists aren't working. They're doing you know, live videos from their homes and places, but there's not really any tours or anything going on. Everything's still closed up.
It's I think they're talking about Britain looking to have, you know, some form of musical events towards the end of the year, and you'll find that that's when most of the bands will come to Britain, October, November, December through January. But they've been trialing, you know, the social distancing gig. You know, for a place that's got 1,000 capacity, they put 100 people in it, and they do the social distancing 2 meter. And you know, the promoters, the venue owners, the bands are saying, "Oh, but it won't work," because if you think about it, you know, even if you charge £100 a ticket, you know, for 100 people, you know, you've got the venue to pay, you've got, you know, all the electricity to pay, you've got the staff to pay, then they've got to pay you guys. You know, it's just hard. It's hard. You know what I always say to people when I'm interviewing, the good and the nice part of my job as a reviewer for a top media company is that you get to listen to like your guys' music every day, if you like. And you just, you know, you think, I haven't listened to Ice for a while, let's just stick it on. You guys, you know, yes, no, maybe you've been in the studio, maybe doing some rehearsing and stuff, but you can't take it out on the road to play, and that must be frustrating.
Yeah, there's just, it's shuddering. It's difficult to get a grasp because it happens so fast, but here we are, and we're just going to have to work through it. That's all. Of course, the band, there are 3 of us now. I've tried to relocate 2 other members and can't find them. So I don't know if they're still with us or not, but the rhythm guitar player, Richard Strange, he's the one that plays the 12-string guitar. He lives in Phoenix, Arizona, and they're on lockdown just about right now because it's really hit hard out there, and that's a large retirement community.
Yeah.
And then the drummer, Mike Salago, he lives in south of Atlanta, Georgia. So that's where it stands right now. I still play my guitar some and write, but there's no shows planned in the immediate future.
Yeah. I mean, it must be so difficult because I guess, you know, you guys will have been, I would say, excited about the prospect that the album came to light and the possibility of getting out there and you know, and playing to the fans, you know, and spreading the word of Ice. And I guess it's been prematurely, if you like, taken away from you, you know, and obviously now you're down a couple of members as well. That doesn't, you know, it doesn't fit into kind of what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it.
Who would have ever thought something like this could happen? To me, this is a miracle, Darren. When you think about the odds of being rediscovered after 50 years and the odds of an owner of a record company walking into a local Los Angeles bar and his friend, the DJ, happens to be playing a 45 that was released. I think there was only 100 of them pressed.
That's right, 100.
It was for a test market, and his friend who owns a used record store, Lance Baris, he's a real collector, and he has a massive collection. And he looked in his collection, and he couldn't believe it. He had it. And then for them to be able to contact us and find us is just unreal. I still have all the master tapes, the big 2-inch tapes that run 30 inches a second, and all the original recordings. And we sent those to the studio and had them digitized and converted and updated. And that's why they sound as good as they do.
And just describe for me how you felt on the discovery that this was going to be an ongoing project.
Tears, man. It was, when you leave the music business, because venues closed. Actually, when we were playing in the 70s, what had happened is live music really changed its venue, and people started to hire DJs to play music at their shows, because going to see a live band was no longer special. And so all the venues in the Midwest and areas in the United States were closing up. So you just watched things melt before your eyes. And it got to the point to where, you're married, you have families and things, and you've got to go to work and get a regular job.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So, you think about it over the years and you wonder, and then digitization comes along, and they're able to remaster in a studio for you. And so you do that, but still there's not an interest. And so suddenly somebody, like I said, walks into a bar. It sounds like a joke.
It sounds like a joke. It sounds like the joke when you walk into the bar with a giraffe over your neck, and you put it on the floor, and the guy said, "You can't leave that lion there." And he goes, "It's not a lion, it's a giraffe." That's one of those ones, Jim. It's one of those. But it must have been, for you guys to have recorded the stuff, and then, for it to kind of, magically disappear and then come back. It must have been an amazing feeling that something that you've put on, your heart and soul into, comes alive again, and someone said, "Yeah, this project probably has some legs."
And the people that we're hearing from, they really like the music. They like the songs. Darren, we were the only band in the Midwest that played an all original music show. We didn't do covers.
Yeah.
All of our music was original, and we played, and we had a following. People would come out, drive out, and come to see us and follow the band.
Yeah.
But, all that goes away, and for 50 years you think, well, I'm getting up in years now, and doesn't look like anything's going to happen. And then it does.
Bam! Here comes the juggernaut with a big truckload of cash for you to say, "Come out on the road and let's play some music."
Yeah. And Daniel Hall, the owner of Riding Easy Records, he's a good person. He keeps his word. He does what he says he's going to do, and he's really followed through with this, and he's really easy to work with, and he's an honest person. Yeah. And that's the drift I get from other people that's done business with him. So that's going good.
Well, I think all you can do is hope that, that pretty soon, the pandemic starts to ease and they start to do some shows, and that you can, and even if you get out to play to a handful of shows, just to let people know that you've still got it, and to let people know that you mean business, because some people, ride on the back of it and go, yeah, they've discovered the album, let's stick it out, let's don't tour for a couple of years, let's live off the money. But I guess, you want to get out there and do it, as I say, my company, I get to review, as I say, albums every single day, and this album landed on my lap, you know, and you read the bio, you know, sounds like Grand Funk Railroad and things like this. You think, wow, because that's a real kind of old style feel, and you think, yeah, this is something special, you know, and you listen to it and you just think, wow, you know, that this is some real good rock and roll, you know. So what I do is I always, I'm surprised I'm not an alcoholic. What I do is I sit with a couple of glasses of red, and I do a playthrough first, and then I pour some more red, and then I start off the album, and then I start to do my review. And you know, you kind of get into it, and you think, wow, this is pretty cool. It's got its own vibe. It's got a really good, you know, hard rocking kind of a country feel to it, and it's just an amazing album. So I then put it out to my boss, and then we post it. Now, you may not have had my review of the album, so what I would like to do, I'd like to send it to you if that's possible.
Yes.
And you can read how I saw or how I felt the album was. We posted it online, and I think it had about 850 views. From our readers. We'll normally post maybe 4 albums a day and 6 to 8 singles, and we'll group them together in genres, you know, for rock, metal, you know, jazz, funk, country, blues, and we put them together, and they go out to the world. And, you know, people are saying, wow, that's a really catchy album. It's really kind of old school, you know, and that's a nice feeling that you kind of get, that when you put an album out and you listen to it, that you kind of get what you're trying to do.
You know, what's remarkable to me is at the times we're in is the resurgence of vinyl. I didn't think that would happen because, you know, when the digital is so much clearer, but a lot of the home stereo systems weren't very good on reproduction. And so when you hear digital, you can hear words to songs that you didn't know that were there. Yeah. And and instruments in the background. And I'm still listening for the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Magic Number, where if you heard the phone number, you could call and win a lifetime experience at the Isle of Wight.
Absolutely.
So now we can hear everything, but the reproductions now on the vinyl are really superior to anything that I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And what I like is, you know, I have a son and daughter, and they're really into vinyl as well. So there's the younger people are really picking up on this. What I like is, you know, the album artwork. And I still have a number of old albums from the 60s and 70s. And, you know, because back then we didn't have Skype, or there weren't a lot of communications.
Teams, yeah.
So we had to go to the drugstore, local store, and get a magazine to read about the bands, or we had the album covers. So you read through the album over and over while you listened to the band.
Yeah. I hope you made your kids pay for your vinyl.
Yeah, they like vinyl.
I hope you made them pay for it.
Oh no!
Listen, Jim, they have to know the value of money and get them to pay for it. You need the royalties.
You know, I'm not sure how those whole royalty thing's going to work, but what, you know, our main goal with this, if we make some money, fine, but we wanted to get it out to the people. That's what we've always wanted. And if it breaks even, or, you know, I don't get a bunch of bills at the end of this, that'd be great. But I just want people to enjoy the music. That's the main thing.
Listen, you know what? I think they will, because, you know, when we put it out there, you know, we get loads of vibes coming back, and guys saying, "Wow, that's quite cool," you know. And I guess what a lot of them are saying is the fact that it was it's been, and you don't want to say lost, but, you know, it's been tucked up in bed for 50 years, and it's now been awoken to bring joy. And I think like the older generation, like you so pointed out yourself at the start of the conversation, Jim, like us guys, you know, appreciate it.
Yes. You know, when we were in the studio, we were playing these songs every week at shows. So when it came time to record, we were ready to go, and we did most things in 2 takes, maybe 3. But we had to drive all the way up to Chicago, which is 120 miles from here, each time we recorded. So,
Yeah.
but I think we did it in 4 or 5 sessions, and I'm happy with the result. Although I still hear with the digital, I'm able to hear some things I didn't hear before.
Yeah.
And I had asked some of the band members that little noise you made between beats on that song, was that on purpose or was that a mistake? Of course, they always answer, "Oh, that was on purpose. That was for real."
Yeah, don't worry. It was all in there for the good of the record. But you know,
Yeah.
I think sometimes as well, little mistakes are good because it shows that you guys are A, you're human, and B, that you can make a mistake, and C, it's not the end of the record. You know, it's not gonna sink the record because you've made a little mistake. And as you quite rightly say, the guys will say to you, "No, no, Jim, it's in there. I snuck it in," and you go, "Yeah, okay, fine." And I guess to the trained ear, these guys will pick it up and go, "I think you dropped a note there, or the pickup wasn't right," and you go, "All right, okay." But I guess it's only to the trained ear that will hear that. But go back to what you were saying about vinyl. I think the good thing about vinyl is when you put the needle on and you can feel it going round as you're listening to the song, and sometimes if the record's got a little warp in it, you feel it and you think, wow, there's just a lot of love going into it.
At my age, I wonder if it's the record or it's just me.
Jim, I think we're both there. I'm pushing on in years now. I've got my grey beard, as you can see on screen. Got the specs. I'm losing my sight. But for guys like me, as long as I've got the music, I've been into music since I've been 11 years old. Heavy metal has been my life. I'm very lucky. For about 10 years, I was a bodyguard, and I flew all over the world and lived my dream. And now I'm getting into the reviewing side of it, where you're lucky enough and fortunate enough to hear guys like yourself and the new kids on the block coming over with their blues and their country and their rock. And I feel very blessed and very fortunate that I'm still involved in the music industry. I still get to meet really cool people like yourself, and really get to chat about music, about your love of music, where you want it to take you, and what it means to you. I think it's a fantastic industry to be in. I hope that you guys get the recognition you deserve once all of this madness is over. Once your leader stops talking rubbish and our leader stops talking rubbish, then hopefully the world will be a better place.
It's politics. It's just politics.
Yeah, you're right. So, what have you and the guys, have you made, or have you tried to attempted to make any plans for the future regarding going out on the roads, doing some shows, doing some live stuff, doing some streams? Has that come into the play at the minute, or is it still on the back burner?
We're waiting to see what the demand is. If the sales and the downloads prove to be, the numbers are there, and there's a demand for us, I can see us doing some things again. Cool. It just really depends. my daughter lives in Los Angeles, Hollywood, and
Yep.
you know, the famous clubs that you hear about that used to be out there, most of them are closed. The Whiskey
Yeah.
A Go Go's still there, but if you're an up and coming band, you have to pay them to let you play there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how, you know, and she has friends that have lived right, you know, lived down in Hollywood, and they live down the street from the major record labels, and they've
Yeah.
been at it for years trying to get an opportunity, and still they can't get anywhere. So
Yeah.
it's still a tough business,
It,
even if
oh,
you're right down the street from the record company.
I think it's hard, Jim. But I think the guy that you've got, your record guy, you know, and I think if he thinks that the album has some legs in it, I think there's a good opportunity that, you know, something might, you know, come of it. And I guess a lot of people like the older generation stuff as well, because you've put a bit of feeling into it, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't like that when when I was younger, and my dad's music was classic country, Hank Williams and Johnny Cash, and which they were influences to me. But at the time, I told Dad, I said, "You keep listening to that on your radio, it's going to ruin it." And he would say the same thing about my music, but
Yeah.
um, it's just the times and the changes and the generations, and every generation has their own music
Yeah, of course they do.
and their own sound. And I've had guys tell me, I can't stand this music now. And I said, well, it's their music. It's like when we started playing and growing our hair long, everybody wanted to cut our hair,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And they said, why are you growing your hair long, man? You know, like that sort of thing. So it's because we liked it and we liked the music. I mean, I remember watching the Beatles on Ed Sullivan when they first were on. I couldn't believe it. I went to school the next day and combed my hair down because I had long Elvis hair. And the teacher took me out of the class and said, you're disrupting the class, comb your hair back. It was that kind of thing. So,
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy that you know that trends determine how you are and how people look at you and how people perceive you. You know, so because you wanted to do something different, people thought there was something wrong with you. You know, you kind of think, but I'm just copying a trend that seems to be sweeping the nation.
the
You
thing
know?
that really, yeah, the thing that I really got out of it was here were some young guys, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, groups like that. They were 4 or 5 years older than we are, or we were, and they were making their own music the way they wanted to.
Yeah,
They didn't have sheet music in front of them. Nobody was telling them what to do. And when we got our instruments and started to play music, we started making up our own songs. And that's what we really love doing. You talk about an artist's opportunity, and you can only grow in that, but the satisfaction of making your own music is like a dream that comes true.
oh, absolutely. You put your own stamp on it. You know, you make the music your own, and I guess, like you said, no one can take that away from you.
And there were bands at the time in almost every neighborhood. They were all over the place. So there were a lot of musicians to glean from. And we were all in school, you know, grammar school and high school. So we were living at home. We didn't have any bills to pay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we didn't have to we didn't have to get out and work. We could just have band practice, and people would call us for shows and want us to play and liked us back. And it was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
um,
So, and we hope you can get it back to fun soon. Let's hope.
yes, yes.
Is there a buzz amongst the guys that that you know the record has surfaced again and it's making some noise?
Yes, yes,
Um,
they're excited, and if the opportunity comes about, and I said, you got to remember, when we traveled and played before, it's a little rough on the road,
yeah,
so you're going to have to be in shape to be able to do this. And I said, I guess I guess if you're not, we can give you a chair and you can sit up there and we'll get somebody to stand behind you and play.
Yeah, take your oxygen tent and your treadmill with you when you go on the road.
Yeah, yes.
You know, and try and get in good shape. So that you don't know kind of has there been any figures out about the album yet as to how they think it's going to do? Is there any distribution people telling you that it's doing well? Because I guess that for you will tell you kind of what the kind of numbers are. Is there nothing like that came about yet?
It's not numbers I'm really that are solid right now. It is selling, and they are selling out. I think they're getting ready to print some more. And I think what's slowed the process is, of course, the pandemic. It's had an effect on everybody, and we were supposed to release in the States, I think, in March or early April, and that didn't happen till June. And so now they're going to release in Europe, and it's set everything back. But when the people hear about the music, the word's traveling through the industry. They're buying the albums, the vinyl.
Yeah, I guess sorry for Jim. For me, is to say we're really lucky. We get it sent to us, and they say, "Can you review this for the record company and let us know your thoughts?" You know, so we get it, you know, a couple of months before anyone, and I guess there's just sometimes where you get a little bit excited about a project that lands on your lap, you know, and you go, wow, I love that song, I love that song, I love that song. I bet this would be awesome when they play it, you know, and then you get other people, you know, coming on Facebook and YouTube, Instagram and going, have you heard of this new album? You know, and I sometimes have a little chuckle to myself and I think, oh yeah, I heard that, you know, a couple of months back. Do you know what I mean? And you go, wow, you know, I'm very fortunate that I've listened to this album. I'm very fortunate that I now get to interview, you know, one of the founders, the vocalist, and talk about plans for the future, where, you know, lots of people don't get to do that, and I feel very privileged, and I thank you for taking the time. But I do hope that you do get out there and play it, because I think this needs to be heard. I do hope that you come to Scotland, come to Glasgow, come and look me up. We'll get a beer. And I think everyone that I've interviewed, I've said that to them, yeah, come to Glasgow and we'll get a beer. And I said to my wife, I'll end up being an alcoholic. All these people that's come to visit me, we're going to sit and get drunk almost every night. But I really do hope that you get the recognition you deserve, Jim. I do hope it's a success, and I do hope that you do get a chance to come to Britain or to Scotland, and I do also hope you find your other two guys, because if you don't have them, everybody's gubbed.
Yes.
So let's hope we get them. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you about all things music and the new record. I hopefully will keep in touch. What I'll do is I'll send you my review, if that's okay, if you're okay with that. And this will be up on our site and Jace Media in a couple of days. And I guess you can get it out to your fans and let them hear us chatting about all things music. But I wish you every success for the future. I do hope that you get everything you deserve. It's been a real pleasure to chat to you. It's been a pleasure to listen to this piece of music. And I hope you do well and stay safe.
Darren, I want to thank you and your people for taking an interest in us and our music. And this is another part of the ongoing miracle to me, that here I've met a guy in Glasgow, Scotland. And my family originated from England, in Wales, in the family tree. And anyway, these people that I'm coming to meet because of the music is more of what it's all about. And I
Of course
feel
it is.
very fortunate, very blessed, and I've really enjoyed talking to you and
Well,
appreciate
listen,
your efforts and your interest. And I'm glad you're there. And this is
yeah,
great.
listen, I totally appreciate that, and you know, it humbles me as well, Jim. That you know, you get, you know, you're talking to some guy the other end of the world. You know, we've never met, but I guess that the affinity and the love of music is what kind of brings lots of people together. I guess the you know, the fact that you get into the music and you like it is another thing, and I guess the third and final thing is that getting the recognition that you deserve for something you could have maybe have had 20, 30, 40 years ago. So I'm sure that everyone who buys this record will be blown away with it. I know that I am. And as I say, I really appreciate your time. Well, let's keep in touch. I will email you with my review, and you can call me back and tell me how rubbish it was or how good it was. And as I say, I hope to see you somewhere down the road.
Me too.
Yes.
You're recording this, or you're gonna
Yep.
edit this for later? Okay.
Yes. I'll edit it. I'll give it to my boss, and he'll chop it down, and then we'll send it out. And then we, as I say, we get probably 60 to 80,000 hits every month. And then when we put a video up, everybody likes to go and have a look and see who you're chatting to and kind of what the vibe is when you chat. So yes, it'll be in a couple of days. I'll certainly email you and let you know when it's up. And as I say, I'll send you my review, and let's hope that we catch each other somewhere down the road, Jim.
I look forward to it. If I get the chance to come over there, I will. I wanted to go to Abbey Road and walk across the street.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
a super Beatles fan. My wife still has her original Beatles tickets from 1964 when they played in Indianapolis.
Amazing. You know, and
Amazing.
these are things to be cherished, though, Jim.
It's like, Darren, what brings us together is music and its universal language. and
Absolutely.
and I respect everyone's genre and their love for what music they love, because that's the same love that we all have for our music, because it becomes part of us. When I hear a
Absolutely.
song that's been replayed 50 years ago, it takes me back in time. There's a trigger, and I can remember the place I was, the people I were with, and so forth and so on. And it becomes part of your life. And I know that's what's happened to you, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, you know, you get some stuff that grabs you, and you think, wow, I can really relate to that. You know, I can really relate to the sound and how you put together the melodies and stuff. And you know, I really enjoyed the album. I really did. I played it through twice, and I'm thinking, wow, this is quite cool. You know, it's got a really good feel to it. And you then hope that, you know, through all this craziness, that we will get to witness it in the flesh, which I hope we will. But as I say, keep on rocking, keep the faith. Let's hope this all comes together, Jim, in some forum, and that we do get to meet face to face, hopefully. But for the moment, I will say this is Darren from Jace Media in conversation with Mr. Jim Lee from ICE. It's been an absolute pleasure, Jim. Stay safe, be well, and I'll hopefully see you soon.
Thank you, Darren.
Take care, buddy.
Bye bye.
Cheers.